What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video, and we have to talk about the linesman elbowing Andy Robertson in the throat or in the face during halftime at the Liverpool-Arsenal game. What would be the appropriate punishment for the linesman? We have some breaking news about the case and also many other Liverpool news, including how the players like Alisson, Trent reacted to the Liverpool-Arsenal game and how Jurgen Klopp reacted. But the biggest talking point, apart from of course Liverpool's brilliant second half where we really should have won the game in my opinion, Andy Robertson was upset. The biggest talking point is of course the linesman elbowing Robertson. Robertson was upset with the decision that the linesman gave just before halftime, so he went to the linesman to complain and to protest, but he didn't do anything physical. He didn't push the linesman, he didn't, do anything. He probably just yelled at him, and the linesman reacted in the worst possible way, reacting with a physical confrontation, elbowing Andy Robertson. And of course Robertson was fuming, so he went to the referee to complain and protest, and he got the yellow card. Robertson got the yellow card. And there is an argument to be made that the linesman should get the same punishment as if a player did that to a referee. Can you imagine if it was the other way around? Can you imagine if Andy Robertson went to the linesman and elbowed him in the face or in the throat? He would get instantly a red card and an 8 or 9 or maybe even a 10 game suspension. So I want a big suspension, a long ban for the linesman, because he should get the same punishment as if it was the other way around. And the biggest news is that the linesman has been suspended. He stood down from his position until the investigation is over by the Premier League's, the FA or the PGMOL. The linesman will not referee a game, but I think he should get a long ban. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course if you enjoyed these videos, make sure to leave a like. And I think this is unprecedented. As Gary Neville said, this is something that we have never seen before, an official elbowing a player. I think he will be in a lot of trouble after this game ends. That's what Gary Neville said. The assistant referee, in my opinion, should get a bollocking. He should miss next weekend's fixtures, but then he should get on with it. According to Gary Neville, he will probably apologize to Robertson as well. And actually 69% of the followers of Gary Neville who voted on his Twitter poll, that's like 69,000 people, agreed with Gary Neville that he should be suspended for just one weekend. But how is that fair? When if a player elbows a linesman or an official, he would get an instant 10 to 12 game ban. So how is that fair that if an official elbows a player, he only gets 1 weekend off? That wouldn't be, I think, a justified or a long enough ban for the linesman. But let me know what do you think in the comments below. And of course I don't want the linesman to be banned from football altogether all his life, because he probably was just hot-headed, a fuse blew in his mind, and that's why he reacted that way. But I also don't think 1 weekend off is sufficient punishment for elbowing Andy Robertson. I would say the same thing if it was another team that player got elbowed by the linesman. Stan Collymore said that yes, I'm all for officials being held to a higher standard than players, but let's not forget they are human beings that make mistakes. So his career shouldn't end, but he should be banned from officiating 3 or 4 Premier League games. And yes, maybe he could officiate in lower league games, but in the Premier League he shouldn't officiate for at least 4 game weeks. And Roy Keane said that Andy Robertson was a big baby, and I think that's wrong, because I mean, how can you say that when, as Roy Keane as a player, he would probably have knocked out the linesman if a linesman tried to elbow Roy Keane in the face? Can you imagine his reaction? He was a lot more hot-headed than Andy Robertson, and I think it's not. I mean, I play five-a-side football and there is a referee, and if the referee elbowed me in the face, I wouldn't react like Roy Keane, of course, but I wouldn't just leave it. I would stand up for myself and I would complain and I would tell my teammates to back me up on that. Robertson has been nothing but a good professional for Liverpool, and he won the caliber of trophies that Roy Keane did. Maybe not as many, but to be calling a fellow professional big baby when you have seen how he has conducted himself throughout his career, I think it's bang out of order for Roy Keane, that's for sure. And Gary Neville also talked about what Granit Xhaka did, and that's the one thing that you shouldn't do at Anfield: wake the crowd up and light a fire under the Anfield crowd. Gary Neville said Arsenal played brilliantly in the first 40 minutes, and then they just got the crowd up. I'm not pointing directly at the Xhaka incident where he got involved, but there is a rule when you play at Anfield. There are some rules. Get through the first 25 minutes, play the ball forward, don't let Liverpool press you early on. If the crowd are sleepy, leave them sleepy. Don't wind the crowd up or give a stupid free kick away. Don't get involved in a fight, because Anfield wants the fire. One team needs fire, and that's Liverpool, and one team needs ice, and that's Arsenal. But then Arsenal got involved in fire before halftime, and obviously they conceded, and in the second half it was a completely different Liverpool team, a completely different animal. It's actually staggering how much a different team Liverpool are at Anfield than what we are away from home, because actually at Anfield Liverpool are like they were last season. We only lost one game at Anfield in the Premier League, and away from home we lost 7. So that tells its own story. At Anfield, Liverpool are almost as good as they were last season, but away from home, we are an absolute shadow of our former selves. And hopefully Jurgen Klopp and the players can figure out how to fix that issue. And Gary Neville also said something very interesting about Trent Alexander-Arnold, that he was absolutely sensational going forward against Arsenal. I don't know what to say about him anymore, because his defensive play is that bad. Some of the positions he takes up against Martinelli to defend straight pass is schoolboy defending. I don't understand it, Gary Neville said. Some of his attacking play, Trent Alexander-Arnold's delivery, his courage to get on the ball despite those mistakes, has got to be admired. I admire him enormously. Alexander-Arnold would drift into midfield in any case, given the freedom being at right back gives him in this Liverpool system. But if he was actually down to play in midfield away from home in the Premier League, and he was getting the ball with his back to the goal, that's a different ball game. Some of the best midfielders in the world, the Xavis, the Iniestas, they are the ones who can manipulate the ball. Trent wouldn't be able to do that, honestly. It's something we have said before about Declan Rice and his ability to receive the ball on the half turn. You've got to be a top player who has played hundreds of games as a kid, looking over your shoulder. I've heard it said a number of times about fullbacks being able to play in midfield before. He can play wide, he can play as a winger. No, they can't. That's why they are fullbacks. I think he can play wingback. Jurgen Klopp tried to play him in a different position against Arsenal. He tried to pull him into midfield, Zinchenko-like, John Stones-like, but he could definitely play wingback, as there is a right-sided centre-back who can shift into the channel to deal with the straight balls. He doesn't need to become the best defender in the world, he just cannot be a liability. He doesn't have to be a great defender with the way in which he attacks. I don't think anybody is asking for that. You're just asking for a little bit of competence and attention to your work. The conversation will continue about Trent Alexander-Arnold. I hope somehow over the summer the penny drops and he realizes that his defensive work is hurting him. When you are playing for a team that is out of form, such as Liverpool, those weaknesses get exposed a little bit more. And yes, I agree with Gary Neville. And I think this like inside right back or inside wing back, inverted right back, that could work for Trent Alexander-Arnold. But I don't want to see him playing as a right winger, and I don't want to see him playing as a defensive midfielder, especially away from home. But at home, if Liverpool have a settled back four, I would actually play Joe Gomez and also Konate and Van Dijk as a back three, play Robertson as a left wing back and Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right wing back. So that way Trent doesn't have to defend as much and he can attack a lot more. So maybe Liverpool should experiment with a 3 at the back formation or 5 at the back formation, whatever you want to call it, Trent Alexander-Arnold should play sometimes as a right wing back. And against the smaller sides, we could try that out, especially at Anfield, where Liverpool have so much of the ball and we are dictating the play so much. Against a smaller team, we should try that against maybe Nottingham Forest, for example, at Anfield, where Liverpool will have like 75-80% possession. Trent Alexander-Arnold could play as a wing back and bump forward and have more license to attack and less so about defending. Because defensively, that's not Trent's best attribute. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And that's it for today's video. I'm sorry that this is a little bit short, but that's all I have time for today. But tomorrow, normal videos will resume. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.